What's up, everybody? J Heat 414 coming at you with some more sports talk. Getting ready for this NBA season. It's about to pop off. Can't wait. NBA should be jumping off tomorrow night. And it's a 72 game season for those that aren't aware. Don't forget, check me out again on YouTube, J Heat 414. Also, Twitter at the Vault JMU 414 for some sports talk, primarily boxing, basketball, football, but I can touch on other subjects as well. But basketball is probably my favorite, and I can't wait for the season to start tomorrow. Although we're not getting an 82 game season like we're used to getting, 72 will work. Let's not forget that's a roundabout what the players would want anyway. They are in favor of reducing the 82 games for the fact of prolonging their careers and their health, which gets into the load management thing that they do. But there's money involved. Those 10 games from 72 to 82, or if they were to reduce it to say 65, the contracts and endorsements and things that the league has, the contracts with the TV stations, all of that would be in jeopardy. So they probably aren't going to work out anything anytime soon, but these are special circumstances during the pandemic. So we're getting a 72 game season. The one good thing I think that's coming out of it is the fact that the league is starting in December. I'm a total fan of starting the NBA in December, letting pro football and college football have September, October, November, let the NFL have Thanksgiving, start the NBA in December, 20 days or so before Christmas. So they got a few days to get some warm up in before we get our quality Christmas games that you look forward to with the NBA, and go from there. And instead of ending the league in early June, let's end it in mid-July or early August, so that Jay Heat doesn't have to sit there and watch boring TV in July and August, because that's kind of what it is for me in terms of the sports world. At least all we got is baseball going on. All due respect to baseball, it's fun when you're there, not as much fun watching it on TV, at least for me. I usually get into that a little bit more as it gets close to the playoff time, but that July and August time is kind of a dead time. So if we had the NBA more regularly, December 1st to say August 1st, I like that. So maybe we'll get there, and it'd be kind of a unforeseen consequence to everything that's gone down, but we'll see. But as the NBA gets started and is about to get kicked off, there's several teams I'm looking forward to seeing. One of the ones I'm looking forward to seeing a lot is the hometown Washington Wizards, also formerly known as the Bullets. We are looking to make some new noise here, getting Russell Westbrook. Very excited about the addition of Russ. I know a lot of people out there were apprehensive. Also loyal. John was a quality player, even though he had some injury issues. He was definitely nothing to sneeze at. Definitely a perennial all-star caliber player, which, let's be honest, in the city, we're not used to getting that for the Washington Wizards or even the Bullets in the past. They come through, once in a lifetime, it seems sometimes. Last big talent we had here before John was Gilbert, and Gilbert was legit. Didn't really see Gilbert coming at the time, because even though he was always a good player, he wasn't quite what he turned out to be here in Washington. This was the highlight of his whole basketball career, I would say, in terms from an individual standpoint and where he took his game to. Obviously, he played in the national championship game in college, but he was a beast, and it was a pleasure to watch him play on a nightly basis when I used to go watch the Wizards games when Gilbert was here, him and Larry Hughes, and even after Hughes left. But John was, he got us moving in a good direction at times when he could stay healthy. Health was a problem. John grew here with us, and I think that's another thing that would make fans loyal to him. I remember when John, he wouldn't play in a game because he broke a nail. Now I'm being obviously exaggerating, but he used to get injured pretty often, and he would always be missing games. And sometimes, based on what the injuries were, I would question his heart a little bit. But over the years, I felt like he showed more willingness to play through certain things and to lead. And he became a great leader, a true point guard, and a scorer, and just, an all-around sensation in the city. But I'm here to tell you, we got Russell Westbrook now. For those that are wondering, was that an acceptable trade? Let's just say they both 100% healthy. I don't even want to get into John Wall's injury. Let's assume John Wall is 100% back healthy and got everything back. His explosiveness, his speed, everything. And a jump shot now, which they're saying he's got. I'm here to tell you, it was still a good trade. Russell is the better player, and it's not close. It's really not close. What Russ brings is bigger than just his talent. But his talent is where I want to start. Russ, he's learned to grow at the point guard position and made a commitment, it seems, from all my time watching him, to be the best point guard in his perspective that he can be. Now, unlike John, he wasn't a point guard in college. He didn't come to the league knowing he was going to be a point guard. He was put in that role. And even though he has more of a score first mentality because he played the two guard before getting to the pros, he learned to find a way to balance it, and he learned ways to be a great point guard and has been one for years. Russ is bringing so much more than just athletic ability to the Washington Wizards. He's bringing a heart and a competitive spirit that we just haven't had yet. Russ is not going to allow the Washington Wizards to not play their tails off every single play. He's going to bring heart, and when they aren't bringing it every single play, he'll be bringing it every single play. Now, granted, Russ is a love and hate relationship with him. He definitely, from watching him a long time out in OKC, even over to Houston, yes, there's times where Russ is going to do a few things that are going to seem a little bit off the wall, or, he's a little antsy. Maybe he rushed something, but everybody's not perfect, first and foremost. And if you're waiting for the Wizards to get LeBron James or Kevin Durant or Kawhi Leonard, it ain't coming. Even the Greek Freak, it ain't happening. So Russ is what we got, and that's okay. It ain't like we just settling for chump change here. This is a superstar we just got in Russell Westbrook, a guy that doesn't really have a good memory of what it means to not be in the playoffs, and that's when he was in the Western Conference. Since 2010, with Kevin, he got to the title, and then Kevin left. But even once Kevin left, he still made it to the playoffs in the West. And let's not forget, the year right when Kevin left, he didn't have another star to play with. He put the team on his back, averaged a triple-double, got Oklahoma City with no shooters, mind you, to the playoffs. And he can't shoot. But they were in the playoffs through heart, effort, and grit. And Russ just dominating. And then once he got other stars with him, they got into the playoffs a little more easily. Now, he didn't get out of the second round, but again, we're talking about the Western Conference. And you could even look at what he brought to the Houston Rockets, how much harder they played on defense when Russ got there, how much hustle they had in them. Now, part of that they had to do because they went so small with their lineup that's the only compromise, but everybody can't do that in the league. And they were able to sustain that level of play because Russ was on the team and he's going to push and make sure you play. Look at how he inspired James. When you think the last time you saw James get a block to seal a playoff win when he played in the series against Oklahoma City? James got that nice block showing you the D. He's been working on his D, but Russ had him playing even harder with even more energy. Now, James helped Russ get out the first round, so they benefited from each other. But That being said, Russ is just going to instantly be a cultural change. Not just getting a perennial all-star like John Wall, you're getting a new culture coming to your city. And I'm sure Russ is going to embrace the city. I'm sure the city's going to embrace him, especially once they get a load of this dude on the court a few times. Bradley Beal is going to definitely flourish alongside this dude. Now, Russ may take more shots than Bradley, at least in the first year. We'll see how it goes from there. That's kind of Russ's mentality. He's going to keep going at it. And he has to take a decent amount of shots in order to produce, because he's a volume type of player, and he's not a great shooter, as we all know. Bradley is. He's a sniper. And even if he gets a couple less shots than he's used to, he'll get way better looks the entire game that he's on the floor with Russell Westbrook. So because of that, his field goal percentage, his three-point percentage should go up playing with Russell Westbrook. He's going to get some wide open looks when Russ kicks and looking like he about to dunk on the whole other team. And then guys collide in the help, because a few times Russ will dunk on the whole team. And then they're like, okay, we gotta help our big down there, and you collapse in with your wing players and everything, and then there you go. Bradley gonna get a look. Other guys on the team that are shooters are gonna get a look. And we've already seen Russ, for a guy who guns as much as he does, he gives you so much energy and effort the whole game that he's doing more than just gunning. He didn't average a triple-double for 3 years not doing anything. You can say he tried to pad stats on rebounds and things like that at times, but he was out hustling guys for it. He was putting in the work. Nobody just gives boards up in the league. And in order to average a triple-double, that means you got to get 10 assists. So he's getting 10 dimes. At times, he does look to pass last, meaning he's looking to score first and it's not there, so he's going to pass it. But at least he does that. It's not like he just forces the shot every time. He's going to look very often for help when he knows he doesn't have it. He just sees himself as a viable option too, as he should, because there's no man alive on the planet that can stay in front of Russell Westbrook. So that's okay. And when you're out there thinking, well, are we going to be able to win a championship? Russell Westbrook can't lead a team to a championship as your best player. I agree. The evidence tells us this is the case. I got one to come back at you, Wizards fans. Championship? First of all, let's talk about these playoffs. You know, like my man used to say, playoffs? Like playoffs. Let's get there. Baby steps first. And since you're playing with Russell Westbrook, start making that an expectation after he does it the first year. He needs to get it done. He needs to prove what I'm saying. But once it happens, make it an expectation. Wizards will be in the playoffs. See him as a 6 to 7 seed, 8 seed maybe, more likely 6 or 7. Wouldn't shock me if they were the 5th seed. It would shock me if they finished in the top 4, just because they don't have the talent for that in the East. And the East, at the top of the East, has gotten comparable to the West. They're just not as deep team-wise. But I would be more shocked if the Wizards were in the 9th seed come playoff time than the 5th seed. Make sure you heard that. More shocked if they're in the 9th seed than the 5th seed. Russ going to get them in the playoffs, and that's if Beal can, even if Beal can't play this season, which we're expecting him to play, and I want the brother to play. Russ by himself in the East will carry the Wizards into an 8th seed if it's the last thing that brother do. That's the type of energy he brings, and he's going to play for us like we family, because that's how he plays for everybody. He takes it to everybody, and he plays hard for everybody that's around him. So the Wizards, we need that. We need this culture shift. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to Russ's driving kicks to Bradley Beal and see how Bradley Beal flourishes. I'm looking for the moments when Russ realizes that Bradley's hot and he tries to really show y'all he's a point guard, because he tends to do that sometimes too when he has his games where he shot a little bit too much and the commentators and the media giving him a hard time. And then Russ will say, okay, let me show you how point guardish I can get. And he gives you his 15-point game with 18 assists and 18 boards or something like that, something crazy video game numbers, but he doesn't shoot as much and just concentrates on all the little things. Especially when you know you got a Bradley Beal, if he's hot, you can have those type of games. So he's going to give us a few of those too. And he might just drop a 51 on us a few times as well. And he's going to look Bradley off a few times, and Bradley ain't going to like it. And he shouldn't. We want that in Bradley. But long as they can talk it over, work it out, and keep working in the interest of winning, they'll be all right. Remember, Shaq and Kobe didn't necessarily get along at all at first, as much as you may think. But they got along in the service of winning games. Not to say that Bradley and Russ is that, but it's the same concept in terms of two stars trying to work in the service of winning and figuring out the best way to utilize each other's strengths and weaknesses. So expect Russ to benefit over in the East. Expect him to tear it up because there's more competition that he's been going against all his life in the West, and now he's not going to see as many of the top point guards. Chris Paul's in the East. James Harden, for right now, is out there. Dame Lillard, Steph Curry, all these top guys in the East. You know, what is he working with? I mean, John Wall's even West now. He's going to pretty much, Russ is going to match up against Kyrie Irving, which will be a duel. And outside of that, he's going to bust Kyle Lowry's tail. He's going to bust Drew Holiday's tail, even though he's more of a 2 than a 1. I mean, he's going to take it to Goran Dragic and them boys out there. I mean, you know, somebody give me one in the comments section. Who in the East is really going to be able to handle this dude at the point guard position? So I'm excited for my Washington Wizards. I hope y'all are too. I hope all of y'all out there having a happy holiday, staying safe in terms of the pandemic time. If you haven't already made your plans, maybe think about on Christmas and New Year's going and buying carryout from somewhere. Support a local business that may be struggling during this time with the government taking us back a step and shutting stuff down. But other than that, check me out on YouTube, jheat414, Twitter, at The Vault, JMU414. The Vault is my brain, for anybody wondering. That's where all the knowledge is stored. A lot of useless information, as some would say. I find it very useful because I love talking about sports. No, I am not sitting by a computer spitting out all of this stuff to you. This is all coming off the dome. This is all the first take, because that's how I do things. Holla at you later. Peace.